I never thought a quiet morning by the river could turn into a nightmare that would upend my entire life. Steam curled up from my coffee mug as I sat on the dock, sorting through my tackle box. The scent of damp earth and willow trees hanging in the cool air. The water lapped gently against the pilings, and I was debating which fly to tie on when a low rumble shook the ground behind me. I turned just in time to see a massive excavator claw smashing through the roof of my riverside cabin. The structure I'd built with my own hands over 12 years ago. Wood splintered like matchsticks, walls folding in on themselves as dust billowed into the sky. My heart slammed in my chest. This couldn't be real. I fumbled for my phone, hitting record before the shock fully hit. "This is my property," I muttered into the mic, voice steadier than I felt, panning over the destruction, the machine's bucket ripping through what was left. The operator didn't even glance my way, just kept at it like it was another job. Through the haze, I spotted a white sheet flapping on a jagged remnant of wall, a demolition notice. Bold letters screaming, "Authorized abatement for delinquent assessments." It claimed I owed riverfront maintenance fees to the local homeowners association. But here's the kicker. I'd never joined that HOA. Bought the land outright in 2013. Cash in hand. No liens. No covenants. This spot was mine. Free and clear. I escaped from the world. Rage bubbled up as I zoomed in on the paper, then swung the camera to my property marker bolted to the dock, etched with the parcel ID proving my ownership. The engine finally cut out, leaving only the creak of settling debris. The operator, a guy in his mid-20s named Jake Miller, climbed down, avoiding my eyes. I kept filming. "Who sent you?" "Got a court order." He mumbled something about following orders from the HOA president, Karen Ellis. No permits. No judge's stamp, just a printout in his cab with codes and her initials scrawled at the bottom, W. R. F. C. He shrugged when I asked what it meant. I called the sheriff's office right then, narrating every detail. 10 minutes later, Sheriff Tom Harris rolled up, notebook in hand, his calm presence cutting through the chaos. He watched my video, scrutinized the notice formatted like official county paperwork, but missing seals and contacts. "This smells like fraud," he said, eyebrows furrowing. He photographed everything, bagged my phone's SD card as evidence, and told Jake to pack up. No more tearing down. As the excavator rumbled away, I stared at the rubble pile. 12 years of solitude. Gone because some power-hungry board thought they could rewrite my deed with a fake form. That night, the injustice gnawed at me like a bad hook set. Karen had crossed a line, using phony authority to bulldoze my haven. I wasn't rolling over. Next morning, I met Emily Carter, a sharp-eyed accountant in her early 40s, at the county records vault. The place reeked of musty files and flickering fluorescence. She'd heard whispers about my case and offered to trace the title chain. No drama, just facts that would hold up in court. We dug through microfilm and yellowed cards, my eyes blurring from faded deeds dating back to the 90s. Then Emily pulled a brittle folder, a 1992 waiver certificate from the old Willow River Fishing Club, which had dissolved and handed off to the HOA. It explicitly exempted my parcel lot 52-09 from any rules or fees. "This is gold," she whispered, snapping photos. We certified copies upstairs. And while there, she checked HOA filings. Turns out, their insurer had denied coverage for the demolition, calling it unauthorized on non-HOA land and hinting at forged docs. Even better, Emily uncovered a recovery fund created 10 months prior, listing my cabin as a delinquent asset to pad their collection stats for a $18,000 state grant. The pieces started clicking. But the puzzle was darker than I imagined. Emily's spreadsheets revealed Karen had fabricated debts from defunct club members to hit a 95% fee recovery threshold. My place was the linchpin, a fake number to unlock funding. We drove to the improvement sites she'd claimed, a overgrown walking path with one rickety bench instead of a full rehab. Barren community plots barely worth $400. Not the $5,000 build. And eroded riverbanks stabilized with a few scattered gravel bags. Over $14,000 vanished into thin air. This is an oversight, Emily said grimly. It's embezzlement. Back at the sheriff's, Tom reviewed it all, his face hardening. We're talking systematic fraud now. That evening, an anonymous call from a retired assessor. Mr. Harold Benson. Chilled me. Karen had been sniffing around riverfront valuations, pushing for rezoning to jack up taxes and force sales. My cabin wasn't random, it was a test run for a land grab. Tension built as whispers spread. Karen blasted an email to the neighborhood, painting me as a greedy outsider trying to monopolize the river, urging folks to rally against losing access. Messages flooded in, some furious, accusing me of stealing their heritage. Others confused, asking if it was true. My blood boiled. She was twisting the narrative to isolate me. But Tom called with news, a formal hearing in 3 weeks, plus a budding probe into her. I prepped relentlessly, gathering ammo. Jake signed a sworn affidavit admitting he'd trusted her bogus order, with help from State Wildlife Officer Sarah Jenkins. We even dove the riverbed, surfacing a slime-covered stake marked Club Boundary 19 from the old fishing era, GPS logged as proof of limits. The hearing room buzzed with divided neighbors, the air thick with unspoken accusations. Karen strutted in, binder in tow, spinning tales of inherited duties from the club. But her legacy ledger crumbled under scrutiny. No county records backed it. I laid out my arsenal: the waiver, insurer's rejection, Jake's statement, the boundary marker, and proof she'd skipped every due process step. No notices, no hearings, straight to destruction. The officer grilled her on the fake permit. Did you mean to impersonate the county? Karen stammered, her poise cracking as questions exposed holes. Verdict: no jurisdiction. Referral for criminal review. Gasps rippled through the room. Her allies slunk out, while a former board member slipped me old memos warning against touching my lot due to liability risks. But I didn't stop. Emily found the club's treasurer's probate stalled since 1995, riverbed rights unclaimed for 30 years. 5 steps: petition, fees, hearing, order, deed. In a quiet courtroom, the judge signed off. Just like that. I owned the river not for greed, but to shield it from her schemes. Threatening texts followed. This isn't over. K.E. I forwarded them to Tom, heart racing but resolved. I turned the tables, issuing free laminated access passes from my dock table. Rules etched on back: respect the water, no trash, no HOA overreach. Neighbors lined up, some tearful, realizing they'd paid bogus fees for years. I refunded $9, $200 from my pocket, recoverable via lawsuit, as Tom stood watch. Revelations poured in. Karen's rezoning plot to hike taxes, forcing elderly owners to sell cheap. This was a calculated takeover. My demolition the opening salvo. Climax hit at the dock. Karen stormed up, ranting about historical rights. I cited her own bylaws: no power beyond mapped areas. Tom dropped the bomb. Charges filed: trespass, vandalism, fraud. Her face drained of color. My civil suit sought $92,000. It's settled at $78,000 from insurance, plus her personal $14,000. Plea deal, guilty. Probation, 250 hours service, $11,000 restitution. The board ousted her, mandating external oversight. Rezoning died. Months later, I hung a hand-carved oak sign, "Honor the river. Honor the boundaries." Funds rebuilt my cabin stronger. The water safe for all. Persistence and paper trails crushed her empire. What do you think was going after the river rights too far? Or justified revenge? Should HOAs have limits on power, even if it means chaos? Drop your hot takes below. Hit like if you agree paperwork wins. And subscribe for more real-life twists that expose the system.